Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to our live on GBC News, your news and governance channel. My name is Shirley Annan. Ghana's Minister for Foreign Affairs, Madam Shirley Ayokoboche, has called for continuous deployment of diplomatic tools by regional and international actors to advance the peace process between Israel and Palestine when she took a turn at the UN Security Council in New York during a debate on the situation in the Middle East. The foreign minister urged both sides of the conflict to overcome past mistrusts and work to engage their citizens on a vision of peace that promises security and prosperity.
Ghana joined the UN Security Council this year as a non-permanent member. The Security Council's table has been inundated with conflict in Africa and the Middle East for decades. It was therefore welcoming that an open debate on the situation on the Middle East was high on the agenda of the UN Security Council this week. The Observer State of Palestine's Minister for Foreign Affairs, Mr. Rahid al-Malki, used the platform to urge the international community to act urgently to ensure that Israel abides by the terms of the two-state agenda. The Israeli permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador Gilal Erdan, said Israel is committed to peace, but the UN should impress upon Palestine to desist from supporting terrorism. Ghana's Foreign Minister, Madam Shirley Ayokoboche, said finding a lasting solution to the situation in the Middle East is a responsibility the world cannot shrug or ignore. Norway is the current chair of the UN Security Council and will be taken over by Ghana in November 2022.
The 43rd Ordinary Session of the Permanent Representatives Committee of the African Union is virtually underway in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. It is on the theme, Building Resilience in Nutrition on the African Continent, Accelerate the Human Capital, Social and Economic Development. The session will, among other things, consider draft agenda and draft decisions on the 43rd Ordinary Session of the Executive Council and agenda of the 35th Ordinary Session of the AU Assembly scheduled to take place on from the 2nd to 3rd and 5th to 6th February 2022 respectively. On the line is Mr. Elom Kwaku, an affiliate of the Institute of African Studies, University of Ghana, to give us some insight into the work of the committee. Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
All is well, sir. Can you reduce the volume of your TV set even as we have this conversation? That would do for us.
It's completely low.
Thank you very much. Now, who constitutes the Permanent Representatives Committee of the AU, and what is their mandate?
The discussions I've been having with my colleagues within the AU, some finance ministers, about 15. I'm getting a lot of feedback. I don't know whether it's from my side.
We would work on that if it's from our side. You can continue, sir.
Yeah, so about 15 finance ministers in Africa, basically to have a conversation and also discuss how to restructure and also re-articulate Africa's position within the global economy, because the COVID-19 has dealt some serious blow to the economies of Africa. And of course, the fact that over the period we have not really been assertive and also exerted our influence on a global stage. We have not been able to vaccinate even more than 10% of the population. Our exports have dwindled at the period, and also our domestic production has not been anything good right about. So this really is a welcoming call, and it follows several other steps that have been taken since 2017, when we had the Adedeji Progress Report on how to finance Africa. We also had the Obasanjo High Panel, and recently the Donald Cabrera Committee that has been doing some work to finance the sustainability of the African Union. So it is just a continuation of processes that started some 10, 15 years ago, only that this time around the African Union wants to prepare and be proactive for emergencies of this nature, for which reason I think that the finance minister, 15 of them, have decided to meet and have a very important discussion and also institute within the wake of the COVID-19 some preparedness should any catastrophe of this nature hit Africa in the future.
Right. So with regards to this, in the face of COVID-19, as you say, do you think the opening of the AFCFTA secretariat in the country has achieved anything much, the desired purpose, I mean?
Well, the AFCFTA also because of the COVID-19, its full operationalization has been delayed. And if my data is right, I think they started full operation sometime January this year, but it is pretty much a short time to begin to discuss the Africa Continental Free Trade Area because there are still some of the phases that are under consideration, especially competition rights, innovation, and all of that. The first and the second bases have been agreed upon. But the point is that before you can even discuss trade in Africa, there must be some considerable progress that must be made because currently we are doing around less than 20% and it is still what it is. And the hope is that the Africa Continental Free Trade Area would be that market synchronization platform that would aggregate all the trading activities that we continue to do on the continent. So in less than 6 months, we cannot even begin to discuss the FCTA yet. But what we can talk about is the individual economies, fiscal discipline, our expenditure, rationalization of our expenditure, and also the fact that we need to ensure that a lot of the money that we go out there and take, we put them in places that we tell the donors we are putting them. Because if you consider Africa as an aggregate, it is just the little economies or the small economies that would have to do well for us to get a picture of what the continent is looking like. And the reason why the finance ministers have been brought to spearhead the particular economic recovery because they are the spending officers within their respective countries. So they have to tighten their expenditure, rationalize it, and increase revenue and put the revenue in places that really need them in health, especially because the health institutions came under a lot of heavy bearing. They couldn't contain the patients, the COVID patients that were taken there. Education suffered. We really saw that there were gaping holes within these sectors of the economy, and even jobs. So many of the jobs that we've been doing are actually not inelastic after all. So these places must engage the attention of the finance minister on the continent for them to have a proper resolution going forward, because the COVID-19 is not what has devastated African economies. It has only exposed the frailties that already exist in these economies.
Sure. So still on COVID, Ghana is pushing for South Africa to be given the support in producing COVID-19 General Assembly. Is there any way the committee is going to push this further?
I didn't get that clearly.
I'm saying that Ghana is pushing for South Africa to be given the support in producing COVID-19 vaccines in South Africa. Is there any way the committee is going to push this further at the Assembly?
Yes, certainly. Yes, because currently the Center for Disease Control in Africa is currently headquartered in Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you, sir. Mawuli Koku on the line. We've been speaking to him about the 43rd ordinary session of AU meeting, which would take place in Addis Ababa in February. And he is an affiliate of the Institute of African Studies at the University of Ghana. You're still watching News live on GBC News. The Ghana Police Service says it has arrested 2 more persons in connection with the violence clashes on Tuesday between 2 rival groups in Nima. This brings to 9 the total number of suspects arrested in connection with the clashes. At a news briefing on Wednesday evening, the Director of Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, ACP Kwesifori, said 2 suspects were arrested at a hideout at Ashalaja. He said weapons such as live pump action, a set of security uniforms and unregistered motorbikes were retrieved from them.
So far, we've arrested 9 people. Today, 2 people were arrested at Ashalaja, where they decided to go. But thanks to the effective intel network of the police service, in collaboration with the good people of this country, we got 2 of them. And weapons, live pump action, a set of security uniform, and unregistered motorbike was retrieved from them. As I speak to you, they are in custody, assisting in investigations. And let me use this opportunity to mention the names of all those that we've arrested. The 9. We have Abdul Aziz Sulewa, Imoro Ibrahim, Bashiru Ganiyu, Muhammad Bariyu, Atarua Basan, Gariba Abdul Mumin, Abdul Gafaru Muhammad, Ilyasu Salim, and Isa Seidu. Arrests will continue. Special police exercises will continue.
Still on the story, on GTV Breakfast, the spokesperson for the National Chief Imam Sheikh Arimi Al-Shaibu says the Islamic community condemns Tuesday's violence in Nima in August terms. He therefore with excuses. He said when young people are not well, they become a
perseverance.
We apologize for that. On GTV Breakfast, the spokesperson for the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Arimi Al-Shaibu, says the Islamic community condemns Tuesday's violence in Ima in the strongest terms. He emphasized that religion is supposed to refine human life, and therefore the violent clashes in Ima is not a sin that society should treat with excuses. He said when young people are not well-groomed, they become a threat to society. Meanwhile, the founder of the Worldwide Miracle Outreach, Dr. Lawrence Tete, says all hands must be on deck to stop these gang attacks now before it spreads to other communities.
That is predominantly Muslim, and it's a community where, in fact, you cannot count the number of mosques and the number of times that the microphones blaze out the shout of Allahu Akbar 5 times in a day. So you expect that with this huge agencies of religion that you can find a certain refinement. But it is faith, upbringing, morality, ethics that transforms the crudeness into a certain refinement that brings the beauty of the human being as expressed in the righteousness that it brings. And the young people, when they are growing, and system fails to take charge of them on the basis of our time-honored traditional values, cultural values, religious teachings. If these fail and young people are growing in society, they will grow, excuse my language, like the animal grows, and they become a threat to society. That's exactly what we saw yesterday. When such problems are so big and deep, you must really plan both in the short, medium, and long term addressing the solution. I don't think we have done so much of that, and we are all suffering from it. So there's a lot to be done. We are not safe.
A lot of people are taking advantage of our Zongo communities, and it's sending a very wrong signal. I like the stand of the Chief Imam, that he didn't hide behind quoting languages and quoting certain things, but he makes sure he condemns it. And that's what we need to do. All of us as a people must collectively get up and condemn it. If we don't stop it in Mamobi and Nima, one day it will get to Teshinungwa, and then very soon it will get to Cantonment, and then very soon it will get to East Legon, and we will think it's not affected, that everybody is connected to somebody. So we need to correct.
Still in news, the Ghana Health Service says it is now safe for COVID-19 vaccines to be administered to pregnant women in Ghana. At a news briefing in Accra, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumar-Boaji, indicated that the service would implement a vaccine booster policy to stem the tide.
There were concerns about the safety of administering COVID vaccines to pregnant women and lactating mothers. However, with time, local and international data and findings have revealed it is safe. At a news briefing in Accra, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumar-Boaji, said specific vaccines have been recommended for use by pregnant women, just like the ones for 15-year-olds, those below 18 and 15.
Pregnant women who are unvaccinated will now be offered, who can now be vaccinated. Previously, it was not policy to vaccinate them. Now they can be vaccinated. We've done quite a lot of work. We, as Ghana Health and all the other agencies who are working with us, we are all concerned about pregnant women. That's why we didn't add them in the first place, in the first 1 year of implementation. But now that we have enough evidence, both international and local, we are now able to add pregnant women because it's effective and safe. There are studies in Ghana we are collaborating, which we are even looking at effect on breastfeeding and etc. And so far, it is safe, and that is why we are adding that to that. And they are recommending that we use either Moderna or Pfizer, which is the mRNA technology, to vaccinate them.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Health Service has reviewed guidelines for Ghanaians entering the country through the Kotoka International Airport. Per the earlier rules implemented during the Yuletide last year, persons aged 18 years and above arriving in Ghana from December 12, 2021 were to provide full proof of full vaccination. At a news conference in Accra, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaji, said unvaccinated or partially vaccinated Ghanaians and resident foreigners are now exempted from the requirement of full vaccination before traveling to Ghana.
Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Kumabwaji, further explained that persons who would be affected by the new review were expected to take their vaccination on arrival at the Kotoka International Airport. In this regard, people who refuse to accept the jab will be forced to go on mandatory 7-day quarantine at their own expense.
Effective, as we just mentioned, but always the airport requires time to educate, engage the airline operators to get clearance, to give them their full instructions, and also they also have to reach their other counterparts from other parts of the world, and that will be the time that they will need to ask and maybe give us some 48 hours to make effective on the website and make sure that people who need to know about the new directive so it doesn't create any confusion. The new guideline is that Ghanaians and resident foreigners who are partially vaccinated or unvaccinated are exempted from the requirement of full vaccination before traveling to Ghana. However, they will be offered vaccination on arrival, and if they fail to take the vaccination offer, they go on mandatory quarantine for 7 days at their own cost. So what it means is that the issue of a Ghanaian being denied entry and a resident foreigner coming in because he's unvaccinated will be changed. But when you come in, you have to get vaccinated, failing which you take go a mandatory 7-day quarantine. The other cases will be considered case by case. Those who are sick and they cannot get vaccinated, we continue giving exemption for those who come up with those problems and they are exempted. And to ensure that cases do not spread, we are going to enhance our home care management to ensure strict compliance with the home management protocols for all those who are eligible for admission. What it means is that we are currently doing some checklists to see those who test positive at the airport who can self-isolate. If you meet that criteria, you are allowed to go and isolate, but we are maintaining a strict program to make sure that you don't really break the quarantine or isolation policy.
The new measures at the Kotoka International Airport are to reduce the effects of the fourth wave of the pandemic.
Every year, about 2 million people become hepatitis B positive globally. Ghana, which is a highly endemic region, has more than 8% of the population carrying the virus. On GTV Breakfast, a specialist physician and senior residents in gastroenterologist and hepatology at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Phyllis Anerji, said most of the very dangerous diseases or conditions start with no symptoms at all, and therefore early screening and detection is key. He emphasized that a healthy liver ensures a healthy life.
There are several ways of acquiring this virus. So this virus is in the blood and also in some of the body fluids. So you can have a situation where you get it from your mother. So if a mother is pregnant or one is pregnant with a baby, there's that possibility that the mother transfers the virus to the baby, what we call the vertical transmission. And we can also have horizontal transmission, and this is acquired from person to person. So we have people who share needles, or when you have a tattoo or piercing with an instrument which is not well sterilized, you can also have the infection. And then when you have blood or blood products transfused into you without proper screening, this is not supposed to happen in recent, in this current dispensation.
Right.
But that's also a possibility.
Okay.
And then it can be acquired through sexual intercourse too. In fact, once you start having symptoms, and full-blown symptoms of hepatitis B, it is already getting too late. So a good number of them would have no symptoms at all. We have the acute phase and then the chronic phase. So the acute phase is lasting in any time between the point of infection and then about 6 months. Most people will not have symptoms at all. They'll go through this phase without noticing it. A few of them would have some mild symptoms like fever, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, but by and large, these are very manageable symptoms. And again, even a minority of these people would have what we call a fulminant hepatitis, where they are very, very sick, and they are usually admitted in the hospital. So once you get into chronicity, if nothing is done, then you can have some few symptoms, which I'm saying is already too late if you get to this point. So you can have yellowing of the eyes, swelling of the parotid glands. They would have their breasts getting slightly bigger than it used to be. And then you can have your feet swelling. Okay. And then you can have your abdomen getting bigger. It is very infectious. In fact, hepatitis B is about 100 times more infectious than HIV.
The Ghana Red Cross Society in the Upper East region, in collaboration with the Swiss Red Cross, is constructing sanitation facilities in 10 selected health facilities and schools in the region. The initiative is in line with the Society's mandate to contribute to the global aim of attaining water for all by 2030.
Many health centers and basic schools in the Upper East region lack basic facilities for hand hygiene, waste segregation, and safe disposal of waste to prevent infections, particularly COVID-19. Health institutions and schools to benefit from the construction of the sanitation facilities include Mayoro Health Center, Natugnia Health Center, Nayagnia Health Center, Awe SHS, Zorsi Health Center, and Gore Health Center. The rest are Anisi Chips Compound, Anisi Primary and JHS, and Tongo Senior High Technical School. At the Zorsi Health Center, the medical officer in charge of the maternity ward, Madame Angela Abalo Abati, commended the society and its partners for the gesture.
First, we don't have washroom for our pregnant women. There's a washroom down there. When they deliver, they have to go out and go and feed them, so whether in the night or daytime. But with this new facility, it will help our pregnant women to give them bath and feel comfortable when they deliver.
At the Gore Health Center in the Binduri district, the medical officer at the facility, Madame Linda Abanga, said access to potable water was a challenge at the facility until the Ghana Red Cross Society and its partners came to their aid.
Now we just present water everywhere. In fact, we are happy. We are so happy about Red Cross. You are helping us a lot. Even with this ambulance, we've enjoyed the ambulance so much.
The Upper East Regional Manager of the Ghana Red Cross Society, Mr. Paul Woma, said the sanitation facilities aim to address water sanitation and health needs of communities and institutions, build capacities for operation and maintenance, local ownership, and long-term sustainability.
The Ghana Red Cross Society in the Upper East region is embarking on an infrastructural revolution in schools and in health facilities in 6 districts in the region. A baseline survey was conducted, and it was realized that most of our health institutions and educational institutions lacked the basic wash facilities. And so an appeal was launched by the Secretary General, the Swiss Red Cross, and graciously the Swiss Red Cross has responded, and we are doing these interventions.
The Ghana Red Cross Society has over the years constructed 21 boreholes in 6 selected districts in the region. The society has also constructed over 1,002 bedroom units for disaster victims in the region. In disaster risk reduction, the society has partnered with state agencies to build capacities of communities to respond to disaster-related issues in the country. For GBC News, Samuel Ayama reporting, Binduri.
You're watching News Hour live on GBC News, your news and governance channel. We take a break. When we come back, we'll do some business. Please stay with us. It's time for business with me, Esther Aidu. The Association of Bankers, GAB, has said a number of commercial banks have so far completed their integration with the National Identification Authority for the implementation of the use of the Ghana card for all financial transactions. Speaking to GBC, the Chief Executive of the Association, Mr. John Iwa, said the industry is well poised for a seamless performance of the task on the 1st of July this year.
A few of the banks have completed the implementation or the integration with NIA. I'm sure, within the first quarter, all the banks to be on stream, and that will become the primary source of identification. The reason some banks may have difficulty in accepting it, they don't have any means of authenticating it, except to carry it physically to NIA for NIA to authenticate, which is, of course, if you are in the banking or transacting, it is not an efficient way of serving the customer. I'm sure by the bank should be able to go and get around it and finalize the implementation of NIA, and we will all be good to use the Ghana card in the banking industry.
And for more clarity on the use of the Ghana card for transactions from the 1st of July, we have on the line an economist, Mr. Bismarck Osei. Good afternoon, Bismarck.
Good afternoon, madam.
So do you think the 1st of July deadline is feasible?
Yes, I think it's feasible. Thank you. Thank you. It's feasible because it's quite explicable for us to understand that this assemblage of information and issuance started way back 2019. So any Ghanaian who may want to get the card, by now have gotten it, and those who have not gotten it to even have about 4 or 5 months to get it. So I think it's very feasible. 3 years down the line, anybody who wants to get a card should get it by now.
Still on that, will the financial inclusion drive not be hindered by some Ghanaians not having the card?
I don't think so. They have actually set a very propitious path for Ghanaians to show commitment when it comes to getting the card. I see in Accra a lot of people are rushing for the card, and I think it's part of this financial agenda. So as Ghanaians have seen this deadline and people want to get it to also to register their SIM card, it will show that sort of seriousness. I don't think it will hurt it. We see more people being part of it and getting this card, the financial inclusion agenda.
But generally, how prepared are we as a nation for the implementation?
Oh, thank you. The preparedness, or the only thing is that when it gets the time is ready, the NIA will hook their database to the Bank of Ghana financial monetary platform. That's all, and that will not take so much time to do. This is not a rocket science. So I think when the time is due, it's just about NIA hooking their platform to database to the Bank of Ghana financial monetary platform, and that's all. It will take off. So that is very easy for us to go.
And finally, is the use of the Ghana card capable of completely preventing financial fraud?
Of course, indubitably, this Ghana card will give us a very good proprietary path where we can help us identify people this fraud, so that these strategic deficiencies we exhibited in the past that took us the grey list of the European Union. Now we are going to jettison those these Vulnerability Act so that we don't get there. And I think it's very good for us. And lastly, one of the things I want us to see outside the fraud is how do we make sure that Ghana card is well integrated into the GRA activities so that it provides that magical effect towards mobilizing tax revenue, especially in the informal sector. And this is one of the serious conundrum most of us are dealing with. But I think the Ghana card is here for us to serve as a silver bullet to help collect taxes in the informal sector too. That's one thing we are all looking up to, especially.
All right, that'll be all, Bismarck. Thank you so much. That was an economist, Mr. Bismarck Osei, speaking to us on the use of the Ghana card for all financial transactions by the 1st of July. And away from that, government forecasts the economy to exceed its revised target of 4.4% for 2021, banking its hopes on the impressive growth seen in the first 3 quarters of the year. The Minister for Finance, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, said the 2022 revenue streams, including the controversial e-levy, will help regain investor confidence and accelerate the country's economic growth.
Ladies and gentlemen, the rapid post-pandemic rebound is as a result of the economic turnaround program and the solid foundation we built between 2017 and 2019. We are also on target to exceed our GDP growth target of 4.4% for 2021 based on third quarter statistics and our domestic revenue target of 57.3 billion for 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, the e-levy is a necessary tool to increase our tax to GDP from circa 11 to 13% to 16% and above to guarantee that we'll pay for what we use. The e-levy will not only ensure that we move towards a more sustainable debt level, but will also ensure that we have the revenues to sustainably invest in entrepreneurship, youth employment, cybersecurity, digital and road infrastructure.
Let's see how the Forex and Commodity Board fared for the day. And that ends business. Thanks for watching.